Have you ever pondered the paradox of war profiteering and its impact on the common people and the troops? It's a phenomenon that dates back centuries, a shadowy spectacle that has been a part of human warfare since time immemorial. War profiteering, the act of making undue profits from the mass-scale destruction and chaos of conflicts, presents a stark contrast to the ideals of peace and prosperity. In the context of the modern world, the defense industry has emerged as a significant player. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that thrives on the manufacture and sale of weapons, military technology, and other defense-related goods. These companies, often referred to as defense contractors, make staggering profits during times of war and conflict. Take a moment to imagine this scenario. A country goes to war, and as the conflict escalates, the demand for weapons, ammunition, and military technology increases. Who benefits from this increased demand? The defense companies. Their profits skyrocket, their stocks rise, and their shareholders rejoice. A grim picture, isn't it? However, while these companies see their profits soar, what about the common people and the troops? They are the ones on the front lines, risking their lives, facing the physical, emotional, and psychological toll of war. The civilians are the ones who suffer the devastation and displacement caused by the conflict. They bear the brunt of the economic consequences, the loss of jobs, homes, and stability. A recent example of this paradox can be seen in the war on digital payments. While big tech companies and banks impose digital payments on consumers, promoting the use of cash is seen as a way to limit corporate power. But the convenience of digital payments has led to a decline in cash usage, with only 26% of total transactions globally being made with cash in 2021. And yet, despite the arguments in favor of cash, the move towards a cashless society seems inevitable. So here we are, faced with another paradox: the rise of corporate power at the expense of the common people. While defense companies see their profits soar, the true cost of these conflicts is often paid by the common people and the men and women in uniform. How does the financial gain of defense companies compare to the cost borne by U.S. troops and civilians? A question that highlights a stark dichotomy in our society. Let's consider the financial performance of major defense companies. These corporations, the titans of the defense industry, consistently see substantial profits. They're the beneficiaries of multi-billion-dollar contracts, fueling an industry that thrives on the machinery of war. This profit, however, isn't distributed evenly. It lines the pockets of executives and shareholders, leaving little to trickle down to those on the front lines. Now let's shift our focus to the human and financial cost borne by U.S. troops and civilians. The price they pay is far from monetary. It's measured in loss of life, in injuries that change lives forever, in mental health issues that cast long shadows over futures once bright. The cost is counted in the tears of families who lose their loved ones, in the hearts of children who grow up without parents, in communities forever scarred by the ravages of war. And what about the financial cost? The expense of war-related healthcare and support is astronomical. Billions of dollars are funneled into caring for veterans and active duty personnel, into treating physical wounds and mental traumas, into providing support for families torn apart by war. This cost, unlike the profits of defense companies, is borne by the American taxpayer, by everyday individuals who may never see the battlefield but feel its impact nonetheless. Here's the reality. The discrepancy between the profits of defense companies and the cost to U.S. troops and civilians is stark and troubling. On one hand, we see corporations reaping massive financial rewards. On the other, we see the people shouldering the true cost of war. This is a gap that needs addressing, a conversation that needs having. This isn't about demonizing corporations or undermining the importance of a strong defense. Rather, it's about asking ourselves, how can we ensure that the benefits and burdens of our defense industry are shared more equitably? How can we better support those who bear the brunt of these costs? The discrepancy between the profits of defense companies and the cost to U.S. troops and civilians is stark and troubling. A reality we must confront, a conversation we must continue. What is the real price of war, and who truly pays it? Let's pause for a moment and consider the human cost of war. It's not just about the casualty figures that we see in the headlines. but also about the countless individuals who return home with physical injuries and psychological scars. We're talking about veterans grappling with post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues that remain long after the gunfire has ceased. Then there's the financial cost. It's not just the billions spent on weapons, equipment, and military operations. It's also about the cost of caring for wounded veterans, rebuilding communities destroyed in the conflict, and addressing the social issues that arise from war. Consider also the burden borne by the American taxpayers. Every dollar spent on war is a dollar that could have been invested in education, healthcare, infrastructure, or other vital areas that directly benefit the people. Yet, amidst all these costs, there's a glaring discrepancy. Defense companies continue to rake in massive profits, even as the rest of the country bears the brunt of the war's impact. These corporations, with their multi-billion-dollar contracts, are the ones who truly benefit from the conflict, while ordinary people and their families pay the price. The true price of war is high, and it is often paid by those who can least afford it. The cost of war extends far beyond the battlefield. It's a price that's paid in lives lost, dreams shattered, communities devastated, and a nation's resources drained. It's a heavy toll that continues to be exacted long after the last shots have been fired. Let's take a recent example of U.S. troops being attacked by Syrian drones in the Middle East. In an unsettling turn of events, a drone attack targeted the Al-Tanf garrison in southern Syria, hitting close to home for the U.S.-led coalition. This unexpected assault resulted in injuries to 2 allied Syrian opposition fighters, a stark reminder of the ever-present danger in these volatile regions. The U.S.-led coalition retaliated promptly, downing 2 of the drones, but one managed to hit the compound, a testament to the evolving face of warfare. The party responsible for this audacious attack remains unknown. However, the vicinity of Iran-backed forces to Al-Tanf and the presence of ISIS sleeper cells in the area add layers of complexity to an already intricate situation. This incident took place against the backdrop of the Israel-Hamas conflict, a theater of war that has seen countless lives lost and nations brought to their knees. Amidst this chaos, U.S. defense companies continue to play a pivotal role, supplying drone technology and other military equipment. Is it not a paradox that the same drones that these companies profit from also pose a significant threat to U.S. troops stationed thousands of miles from home? The harsh reality is that the very technology that's meant to ensure their safety can also become a tool for their destruction. This recent incident underscores the danger faced by U.S. troops abroad and raises further questions about the role of defense companies in fueling these conflicts.